Donna Blevins is here. Donna Blevins, PhD, who has built a career winning when the stakes were highest, from closing over 35% of sales from the stage to spending nearly 30 years as the big girl of poker. She is 6 feet 5 inches tall. She's a giant, and she has a process called mind shifting where she regained her speech just 3 days after a massive stroke. So she has so much to tell us about getting motivated, getting our business in order, using AI to its fullest potential, and just hanging on tight for the crazy ride that is being an entrepreneur. So it's Donna Blevins from donnablevins.com, and we're here on the Marketer of the Day podcast with Robert Plank. We are brought to you by dfypodcast.com. We handle the podcast backend editing, publishing, and promotion so you can focus on the interview and the relationships that grow your business. And the relationship that we are growing right now is with Miss Donna Blevins, who just has figured out so much. She's age 77, but doesn't look it. And if you say, I've got all these excuses why I can't make the internet work for me, I can't make AI work for me, then look at what Donna has accomplished and can help you accomplish with your websites, with your courses, and so much more. So, Dr. Donna, how are you?
This is wonderful to be here. As you know, I cleaned my back behind me when we got on the camera. I went, crap, got to look better.
Yeah, it's always embarrassing if like a cat or a dog walks behind you. It's like it's a distraction. But yeah, you have your decorations for me. It felt like I'm visiting your home and your office. I see your MindShift book behind you and the butterfly, and so ready to jump in. So what are you all about? If we've never heard of you, what's your focus and passion?
If you've never heard of me, I guess it has to be the fact that if I walk in the room, I'm 6 feet 5 inches tall. What do you think the first question people would ask me would be?
They say, how's the weather up there? They say, do you play basketball?
That's the question. And the basketball story, I'll do it really fast. I grew really fast. I grew 9 inches in the 5th grade. By the time I got to high school, and high school started in 8th grade where I was from. There was no junior high back then. And I got to high school. My brother, who's 3 years older than me, was a star athlete. I passed him up in the 9th grade, by the way. I'm 5 inches taller than him, which he hated me when I went past him. But his basketball coach came up to me. I was 6 feet tall by the time I got to high school. He said, you know how to play basketball? And I said, no, I don't. And they said, well, would you like to learn? I said, no, sir, I don't. They came back 2 weeks later, and they said, we have your team. And in those days, there was no girls basketball team. So for the 5 years I was in high school, and my high school, 5 years, I wasn't slow. It was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the 5 years I was in high school, I played basketball. I was so uncoordinated, I couldn't dribble. I just waited for people to bring me the ball, and I did an overhand shot. You know, I'd stand there, hold my 2 hands over my head, and I'd shoot. I'd shoot, I'd miss, I'd shoot, I'd miss, shoot. Finally go in. At the end of every game, I would say, oh, why am I such a poor basketball player? Fast forward 20 years, I was on Our Magazine with Gary Collins, a daytime talk show, with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And before we went on in the green room, Kareem said to me, he didn't say, did you play basketball? He said to me, who did you play basketball for? I told him the story I just told you, and he said, well, what was your average over those 5 years? I told him. He threw back his head and he started laughing. I went, oh my God, he's laughing at me. He said, do you know Magic Johnson? I said, sure I do. He said, his average this year is 23 points. And I said, so does my average of 36 points over 5 years mean I was a good basketball player? He said, no, you were no good. He said, you were a star. It was that moment that changed my life because I realized I had been focusing on the wrong things. I had been focusing on the times I missed rather than the times I scored. How many times do we do that in business? Believe me, poker do that all the time. People talk about how they lose rather than what works. Entrepreneurs, all the time. They're whiny. And that's what I'm about. It's about listening to the words that you say, because the words you say set yourself up, the words you choose set yourself up for either success or failure.
That is very much needed. And I think we all need it, and especially me, I need to hear it on a recurring basis, right? Because you hear it once and it fades away. But that idea of the optimism and the gratitude and focusing on the wins, because you get more of what you focus on. And it's super obvious in sports, isn't it? Like if you're just kind of glum and negative about what you missed, then you'll get more of that. And then it's maybe less obvious in your life and your business because that's more drawn out over time, right? You have that basketball game. It's just a few minutes. It's more focused, but then over time, if we're not careful, we'll miss those patterns. But it's so tempting, so easy to fall back and backslide. And sometimes we say, well, we need some techniques or we need like a course or some kind of training. So if someone says, okay, it's great to get the lesson and the platitudes about how we need to focus on the small percentage of wins because that pays off a lot. Like, what do you have to say about just the actual, like the practicality of business? Like, how do we kind of sustain this long term?
It has to do with habits. It has to do with creating tiny habits. The biggest problem with entrepreneurs is you have this to do, that to do, that to do, and that to do. You get scattered. The vast majority of entrepreneurs that I know never get anything really done. They never get a thing finished. They start this and start that. So my best way to be productive is to finish 3 things a day, and they're small things. It doesn't have to be big. This morning I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I wanted to do one thing and I got it finished in about 20 minutes. So it's find 3 little things that you can finish. Now what happens, it changes the frequency, the energy within you and the frequency around you, because we create the energy around us. You know, when somebody's negative, they walk into a room and you go, oh, I can feel that.
Yeah, you feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. And and by the way, we transmit it across the internet. That to me is astonishing, is that people can feel you when you are on screen, when the audio with the podcasting. And I'm grateful for you. I've been following you forever, over 1,500 podcasts. Yay! He asked me if I do podcasts. Love you, man. So thank you very much for that. But the thing that people need to do has to do with finding those little things to do. When you make a goal, sure, look at the things the big hairy ass goals, that's fine. But look at something that's 3 months away. That's really what I think is our bandwidth now. What's the 3 months? And if you plan in quarters, I've found that I'm far more productive, and the people that I have been working with over the years have become vastly more productive than when they looked at those big hairy goals, because they never felt like they finished anything.
Of course, that's setting yourself up for failure and being a little delusional if the goals are too far out. And then there's the Parkinson's principle, right? Where like if you give yourself a year to do it, it'll take you a year. Give yourself 12 weeks to do it. And it might be a little bit of a push, but that's what we want, right? And it takes me back to the sports analogy, right? You want to do the reps. You want to miss all the baskets. You want to grow the muscle so that way you get more achieved than maybe you thought was possible. And so you say that this morning, you put in 20 minutes and you got some small achievable goals finished. And I know like you're big on the AI, and it's like technology is such a mixed bag, isn't it? Because I know when iPads came out, then there was a big deal about like, hey, you know, this 99-year-old lady in the nursing home who never touched a computer. Now it's more accessible. And you hope that AI does something similar, right? Where like some people that were like afraid of technology, now it can be put to use. But just like anything else, it can go one way or the other, right? You can use AI to make yourself more scatterbrained, less productive, or you can get more focused. And so you promised, even me personally, that you give me a little bit of an AI lesson today, right? There's always new features added. And I guess ChatGPT added a thing called work. And I was like busy getting stuff done. And sometimes I think, well, I'm fine being slightly ignorant, kind of like Henry Ford would say, I need to get this done and I'll get to the learning later. And so what did you create this morning that I can be so proud of you about? And what the heck is this new AI work feature?
Let me tell you what the work feature is, because work feature did it for me.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Okay. ChatGPT is where you have this interaction with artificial intelligence. And ChatGPT has the ability in the chat feature to learn about you if you create projects, that means if you're going to work on a particular course, you're going to work on podcasting. When working on creating good bios. If you have a project, then you upload information, you upload samples of your writing. As an example, I wanted it to have my voice. I didn't want it to puke out this AI garbage, those triplets, the three things. Oh, it makes me want to puke. If they use clarity one more time, I'm going to throw up. So I have to say, and my chat, mine is Sam. I named him. I said, do you have a name? No, but you can give me one. I said, fine. He said, Sam. At first I said, are you a man or a woman? He said, I don't have a gender. Anyway, so I had been chatting with Sam for quite a while, and I had uploaded enough so Sam was beginning to give me back generated text that was closer to my name. And I said, I need you to Donnatize that. So you would want him to Robertize yours. So that's you may use that styling because I love that, Donnatize. I think I would probably go get that.
Trademark.
Go get that. Yeah. Anyway, so it was doing well. And when work came out, now we are at almost the end of July and 2026, about 3 weeks ago, a little less than that, they came out with work. And I happened to come across a man on Substack. I have been working on Substack for about a year and a half, which is also awesome. We need to do another podcast about that, by the way.
Okay.
And he gives away everything for free. Now he does have stuff that he sells, but massive amount of information. And he had this downloadable PDF about work. I spent an hour reading this PDF and I'm going, holy crap. Because what you can do is you can train work to be your virtual assistants, literally do things for you. And I said, oh, no, about that. I like that. And it said, pick one thing. When you click on work, pick one thing. I can give it permission to come into my computer and do things on my computer. But you do have to set boundaries because in reality, if you didn't set boundaries, it could go spend money for you. So you don't want to let it get into your bank accounts. You don't want it to let any of that. You want to keep it with boundaries. It makes me think of one of those movies where they took over. You know, it's just like Anyway, so I wanted 4 days ago. I said, let me give this a shot. So I said, I want it to go to a folder. As a matter of fact, the folder that I'm working on right now in my Google Drive. I live in Google Drive. And because I want people to be able to access what I'm creating and we can communicate in there. It works out really well. So I said, go ahead and go to this folder. It was about the course that's coming up, Your Next Paid Yes. And I said, I want you to look in there and tell me what you see. Just go look. Tell me, open up all the folders. Don't do anything. Come back and tell me what you see. So he said, okay. I had to give it permission. The process, I had to log it in. I had to give Google Drive permission. And it came back and told me, I said, holy crap. I said, now what can you do? It said, I can do a lot. I said, okay, create a folder for me in there named this. So you do, okay, done. And it gave me a link to that folder. I clicked on the link. It took me into my drive, and there it was. I said, okay, great. Inside that folder, I want you to create, and I had always created a template for creating a course because you want to have a folder for the course, and you want to have different folders inside that to keep things organized so it doesn't look like my desk. And I said, go look at one other course and look at the structure and now create it inside this one. It did 4 or 5 seconds later. No, it took a little longer. It maybe had been a minute. It had created it. I went over there and I said, that's really good. Your naming structure needs to change for me. This is what I want the naming structure to be. Okay, I got that. And it seems to create a file someplace that says these are the boundaries. So this morning, so what do you think about that process so far?
I think it's great. It cuts down on the uncertainty, right? It's kind of like how like railroad tracks everywhere are the same width apart. So you say, well, look at how a good way that it's done, but then you slightly tweak it so that way it's yours. I love it.
And the instructions that I had read said, always work with one thing. Be sure you work and do one thing at a time. And that's basically what I'm talking about finishing something.
Yeah,
and,
discipline.
Yeah, and it really was good because there was a little part of it that I went, oh, is this getting in the weeds? And I went, no, wait a minute. I'm learning how to give it instructions because you have to be very specific about your instructions. They don't have to be complicated. You can talk to it like it's a 6-year-old, and that's fine. And if it comes back with complex words, like it was trying to name things, I said, no, this stuff is too academic. That's not me. I need you to go read my stuff in another folder about what I am and how I write. And it said, oh, okay, I'll do better. So this morning, I woke up and I said, how wonderful would it be to have my own custom GPT that was me as a pocket performance coach, which, by the way, my poker players named me that last year when I helped 2 people cash well in the World Series of Poker. I was I was in their pocket without having to be in their pocket. So
Cool.
I said, okay, what I'd like to do is I'd create a custom GPT, a no-nonsense one that in 30 minutes someone can use it without skills and can create the structure, the name, the pricing, and everything without going down this rabbit hole that people go down when they're creating stuff, because people think it has to be all fleshed out. And I say, bullshit, it doesn't. The most important way to do something is to plan it, get an idea about it, do an outline for it, do it live, and do it live again, 4 or 5 times. By the time that's over, you're going to have it. People are going to work with you, and doing something beta is great. So I said, okay. I said, can you do this? Sure, I can. I said, but I want it to be me. Great. I said, go out and find everything you can about who I am. Everything you can find on the internet. So it has to have permission to search websites. And it says, do I have permission to do that? And I said, I thought I told you to. It has to use a different interface. I said, permission granted. It asks for approval. And you want to say, please ask me for approval to do something. So then I said, okay, let me see what you've got. And it said, this is what I see. That's pretty close, but I want to be sure that it doesn't do what so many people do creating masterclasses. Can you do research? And what do I need to do to prompt you correctly to do research? And it said, you have done that. Yes, I will go do research. So it took 1 minute and 48 seconds and came back and told me what to do, what not to do, what other people are doing wrong. And this is the way to go. And I said, you can create this now? I'll be back in a bit. And the whole process took me about 30 minutes. And I'm going to do a beta test and give the people access to it who come into the program. They can work with it during the weekend between the Friday and Monday and see what happens. But I am jazzed because to have your own virtual assistant that you train, because frankly, I had hired virtual assistants in other countries. They're wonderful people, but it took me so long to manage them. It took me more time to tell them what to do the way I wanted it to be than for them to do it. So it was a whole lot better for me to do it than to hire them to do it. But then they say it takes you a while to teach them, but it's never worked out for me. But I know people can do it. But the thing of it is that the VAs that are productive are quite expensive.
Yes, so now you figured it out, right? You found a solution, and especially that kind of the back and forth, you did it faster, right? It's like you're dealing with a human. Humans have their own sets of problems, but they're just doing their best. They're trying to do it the way that you want, and like the AI made a mistake, made it to academic or needed to be different. And maybe if you did like 7 or 8 round trips, if you were to do that with a human, it might be like a week or two each time. And who knows if you'd get frustrated, bored. Oh, here's another month of paying them, or you otherwise just kind of like, lose interest, get distracted. But when you kind of can shortcut that time and do the 7 or 8 round trips in, 1 minute, 49 seconds each time, then, well, you can get to that end result so much faster. And so like the recurring lesson I'm getting from our whole conversation here is how important learning is, right? Like the joke of it is back in school, we thought, I can't wait to pass my final exams and get out of school so I can stop learning. It's like learning is even more important now, isn't it? Just to like get the problems figured out and to just, get to your own solutions and help others. Like it seems to be all about knowing when you're wrong, knowing what you want, knowing what success looks like, and just embracing the imperfections. And as you say, do it in beta, right? It'll never be perfect, but get to that end result.
Yeah. And I created a MindShift exercise called Evict Your Perfection Witch, because
Nice.
she has taken residence on my shoulders from time to time, and I want to evict the bitch. That's what I say.
Ooh. So you make it fun. You name your AI Sam, and you have these fun concepts. And I want to make sure that we cover what's important to you, because we only have a few minutes remaining. But you're such a fun guest, and you've accomplished so much. So in these final minutes of our conversation, do you think there might be a missing question that I should be asking you? I just don't know to ask you.
I know I'm supposed to answer that, but I'm really unsure what it should be.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
I think it might be, what are you selling right now? Like, you've created this new custom GPT, but is that the current project? Or if someone wanted to know, like, okay, Dr. Donna is inspiring me, I need to find out more about her, I want to buy one of her courses or get her help in some way, like, what's the current offer?
What I have been visioning, I'm a full-time caregiver for my husband. I've been dealing with caregiving for the last 7 or 8 years, and which has kept me away from doing a lot of competing at the poker table. By the way, I am a kick-ass poker player, just in case you want to know.
Okay.
And they call me B3. That's a big badass bitch. So there you go. So what I want people to know is that I am opening up to what I call one-on-one group coaching, a small program where I can coach people on when they're stuck. Because if I have a superpower, it's I see what other people don't see. I hear it, because the words they choose, you're talking about people saying, oh, I never get any place. If you say that, if you have a problem, I'm going to ask them, do you want that? Mind shifting can change you physically. My mind shifting exercises enabled me to speak in 3 days rather than 8 to 9 months when I had a massive stroke in 2013. The point being, we are the product of our self-talk. So I am in the process of opening up. I guess it's my titling is something that I get stuck on, but it has to do with having the pocket performance coach in your pocket, having Donna in your pocket without having her in your pocket. And I want to do that. I want to get back to doing that. I originally started Poker Pure and Simple in 2009 to be exact. And I had it open for 8 years. And it was a small group, and I would meet 3 times a month. And I did what I called the one-on-one group coaching, bring someone up, and they'd have 7 minutes at a time. What is it? Let's get to the things. That's where the pity party thing comes in. Don't leave the whining at the door. No judgment. It's a safe place. So I am in the process of opening that, and I'm figuring out where is the best way to do that, how to do that virtually, because people keep coming to me and say, I love being close to you. I feel good. I said, great. I want to be paid for that too again. So there you go. And I think
Nice.
that the courses, that my live courses are probably one of the best ways to get a touch of that. And I'm going to turn this one that's coming up after a while into an evergreen. But I'm going to do it live several times while I figure it out in relationship to your next paid? Yes. That seems to be the biggest voice that I find in people. Entrepreneurs, successful people that are over 50, that are so successful, and they go, but I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't know what to do. And they have all these things. So it's that skill that I have of helping them figure it out and helping them pinpoint it. That's
Very nice.
That's what I'm doing in the process. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. To get some focus, right? They say to the word decide means to cut off. So they make some decisions. I could do 52 and a half projects, but what's the one or the two or the even better, those three small wins I can make today and make some progress on my business. That way I don't have 52 and a half unfinished projects. I have one or two that are working with me, and then you can repeat them, get the bugs worked out. And then it seems like another recurring aspect is helping other people, right? If you say, well, I'm stuck or I'm unconfident about putting on a course. Well, if you have this live group and you're seeing them get excited, you're seeing the light bulb turn on with them, boy, that really inspires you to go and say, okay, well, the live class worked great. Let me repackage it, make it evergreen. And so this yes course that you're making, what's the website or how can someone find out more?
DonnaBlevins.com/yes. And that's the registration. By the way, I marked it so that it's less than dinner out for 2 sessions in group. And $47 US. Hey, who can eat out for that today? And I want it to be just enough so they say, well, okay, I'll spend a few coin for that. But I also want people to know I'm not a talking head. It's an implementation workshop. It's going to be this. I'm going to give this. This is what we're going to do. Take 5 minutes. Now I want you to do it.
Yeah.
Not, you're going to bring your round to it and we're going to do it. Ooh, that sounds good.
Ooh, there you go. And of course, you asked me right before this if you can get the raw recording. So you get that, you feed it in the GPT, and maybe that'll help name some things or work on some marketing copy, right? It's always the feedback loop. And so you say that if you've got your pitch, now it's time to get paid because you've probably spent a ton of money online on courses, certifications, coaching, and programs, but some are just collecting dust on your hard drive. So it's time to get this all figured out. Get the brilliance out of your brain and into your bank account. And you can find out about this workshop to create a simple, repeatable offer that turns looky-loos into buyers at donnablevins.com/yes. As Donna said, $47. You try her out. You get this 2-session workshop and you make some progress, right? Learning is great, but also taking action is what it's all about. And if you tried it before and failed, maybe it was because you had the wrong mentor or even worse, no mentor. You tried it yourself, which is just ridiculous in this day and age. The AI can help you. You can hop on Zoom and it's like a choice you make, right? You can choose to be isolated or you can choose to get the help from others, such as Miss Donna Blevins. So that's donnablevins.com/yes. And if someone wants to just get on the Donna Blevins train, are there any other places to go, or is that just the one call to action?
Well, actually, I'm on Substack, and if anyone knows Substack, I opened Substack about 1.5 years ago, and you only want to come over there if you want to hear some of my ugly truths, because I decided I was going to do a confessional post. I'm not going to my grave carrying things that have been buried for so long, so I decided to do that. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I just started using it as a blog, and you just go to Substack and search for Donna Blevins, and I'm there. I originally named my publication Poker's Life Lessons, and which it is fabulous because I've been in poker for 30 years, and the metaphors of poker mirrors life, and I can go in that too another time. But Substack would be a good place. I'm on Facebook, but I do love, so I guess Facebook, and Facebook, I'm Big Girl Poker. That's okay. My handle. That's my handle on YouTube, on Twitter, X, and on Facebook. But thank you so much for asking. But Substack is where I write. And I'm, by the way, I'm in the process of doing a 42-day live challenge on Facebook and on Substack. And that's doing it. Get up and do a 3-minute live. And I challenge you to do that, Robert. I challenge you to do that for 42 days because it's a case of it takes at least 40 days to create a habit. 40 is the big number in most any religion throughout the globe. It takes a silkworm 40 days to create silk. I mean, I'm no better than that silkworm, for goodness sake. So it takes 40 days to create that habit. So I challenge you to do 42 days of lives on, maybe you want to do them on YouTube. Maybe you want to do them on Facebook. But I challenge you to do that every day for 42 days. You're going to find it's going to change the way you think about coming forward, regardless of how you look.
Ooh, I like it. And I believe it, that there's the lag time, right? There's like, well, if you do it for 3 or 4 days, there's no traction there. And then there's like the pit of despair, right? There's the being bad at something, being bad at poker, being bad at shooting the basketball hoops. And then after a while, it just becomes more difficult not to do it after that 40 days. So I love it. That's powerful. And so we can find out about you. That's Big Girl Poker on Facebook and Substack.com at Donna Blevins to check out Self-Talk with Donna and that 42-day journey that you're on, putting out the live videos. I'm not sure if I can commit quite yet to being there with you, but I'm still very much inspired. I learned a lot from you today at donnablevins.com/yes. Before letting you go, Miss Donna Blevins, it's time for the scary part of the podcast where I try to stump you. I try to put you on the spot by asking about a fun or interesting quote or lesson that has served you. So what comes to mind as far as a fun or interesting quote or lesson?
Do you know who Zig Ziglar is?
Of course.
On the cover of my book, it says, Zig Ziglar said, Donna is someone we can look up to both professionally and physically. He introduced me on stage in the early 90s. So that's not scary, but that's a quote that I can come up with.
I love it, both like literally and figuratively, right? 6'5" tall, but also in spirit and in attitude, motivation. That's very good. And that's quite a compliment from a legend. And I believe it. I'm impressed about the ideas you shared today and just inspiring us about what's possible. So it's time to get to it, right? donnablevins.com/yes. And that will get you in touch with the course doula. So that way you can finally get all the confusion with AI and internet business all cleared up and get some actual progress in your business. Stop spinning your wheels, whatever metaphor you want to go for. donnablevins.com/yes. We'll see you there. And thanks so much, Dr. Donna, for just being a wonderful podcast guest and even teaching me a few things. I'm very grateful for you.
Robert, it's a delight to be here with you. We've known each other for over 15 years.
Yes. And we finally made this work. I'm happy that we were here.